WWE Raw. It is WWE Raw, and these are the top takeaways. I have 11 takeaways. I'm about to hop right on into it. Feel free to hit the like button, on YouTube. Feel free to follow me on Periscope as well at 2SweetPie. So, we're going to get right on into this thing and not waste any time. Title for title. It's the first takeaway. So Seth Rollins came out to a huge applause. It was the Raw After Mania crowd. Of course, there was going to be raucous. Talk about how he felt like he got ran over by a human Mack truck. He wasn't feeling good. And he talked about how Brock Lesnar was in Las Vegas and how he could stay in Las Vegas. So before he could get going anymore, the New Day's music hits. That brings out Kofi Kingston. And I'm like, well, what is going on here? Kofi Kingston said that he saw the ladies at WrestleMania and said that they had a pretty good idea. Winner take all. And before Kofi Kingston could get into his next words, I said, man, Kofi, don't do it. Do not say it. And he said, well, we should have a match tonight. Winner takes all, title for a title. And Seth Rollins accepted. And at that moment, I thought, oh man, they about to take this Kofi thing away from me after day one. I can't even get a full week with the guy as the champion. And eventually, as the night went on, I thought, oh, okay, somebody's going to interfere. So that segment was pretty good. It came off like a big deal. The crowd was into it, and it was well done. So moving on to my next takeaway, pointless rematch. We had Zack, Ryder, and Curt Hawkins versus the Revival. And man, I gotta say, I hate these WrestleMania rematches. Like, what is the point? We just had the match at WrestleMania. What are we doing a WrestleMania rematch for? Why even buy the pay-per-view? I hate, but that's what I say all the time when they have pay-per-view rematches out of the next night. And also, not to go on a tangent here, aren't rematches a thing of the past? Am I the only one that remembers when Shane McMahon said that notion was antiquated? We don't do rematches anymore. Boy, they just got rid of that. So during the match, we had a nice heart attack, to which I don't think the heart attack should be used as a transitional move, but that's just a personal beef of mine. But the match was decent enough. Toward the end of the match, we had a shatter machine on Zack Ryder, but Hawkins got in the sneak tag and rolled up. I think it was, I can't remember which member of the Revival it was, but Hawkins got the roll up for the win. And Ryder and Hawkins retains, and poor Revival, man. Like, it looked like they were on to something, looked like they were finally going to treat him right, and here they are. So moving on, my next takeaway is that Lars is finally here. So Baron Corbin came out to a raucous booze, and he started bragging on beating Kurt Angle. He got some very savory chants, ones that I'm not going to repeat, but they were not liking Baron Corbin. So that brought out Kurt Angle. Crowd loved him. He wished Baron luck, but bad luck, and he gave him an Angle slam, and some music hit, and the crowd just went pitch quiet. Like, what's going on here? And even I'm watching like, what the heck is going on here? Lars Sullivan comes down, and it's like, oh man, he's officially here now. So he gets in the ring with Kurt Angle, and he brings it to Kurt Angle, and he hit him with a top rope headbutt as well. And Lars Sullivan stood over Kurt Angle. I'm very interested to see where they go with Lars Sullivan next. So that'll be very interesting going forward. So moving on, my next takeaway is Bliss is back, baby. It's not much to really say about this match. It was a quick match that only went like a minute or two. The only thing of note was Bliss mocking Bayley, and Bayley hitting a sunset flip on a turnbuckles. But other than that, Alexa Bliss picked up the victory with the DDT, and Alexa Bliss is back. We now have a lot of contenders in the women's division. Now that the titles are off of Bayley and Sasha, they're free to run around in the singles division. We'll see what happens with Sasha going forward, but Bliss is back as well. So, moving on to my next takeaway, Lacey Evans in the title race. How about that? So, we had Becky Lynch come down, and crowd was all over her. They wouldn't let her talk. She could barely get out of her promo. She talked about how she learned how to be a survivor. She talked about Ronda Rousey as well. Talked about how she would be waiting for Ronda Rousey when she came back. She talked about how the McMahons would likely give Charlotte the tag titles to make her feel better. So this brought down Lacey Evans, interestingly enough. And she didn't walk down, she didn't do the Simpsons grandpa gif, but she walks down the stage and walks back. She actually nailed Becky Lynch with the woman's right. And I gotta say, I hated the fact that Becky Lynch didn't sell it. Like, you at least gotta go down to the ground. It's the woman's finisher. You gotta go down to the ground and sell it. But she didn't sell it. She ran up the ramp and beat down Lacey Evans, and we had ourselves a brawl. A pretty nice brawl, I gotta say. I'm not that interested in Becky Lynch versus Lacey Evans, but it was done, fairly well. The brawl, I actually enjoyed it. So I guess we'll see how it goes from here, and I'll give it a chance. So moving on to my next takeaway, why are they still together? Ricochet and Aleister Black versus Bobby Roode, Chad Gable. This was a decent enough match. Ricochet had a nice dive from the ropes before he went into commercial break. And I gotta say, during this match, man, somebody get Michael Cole some cough drops, because the man was struggling. He had been struggling ever since the main event of WrestleMania. And man, it didn't get any better. He was struggling throughout this match. The crowd was doing a wave in this match. And I gotta say that, man, that's pretty strange. Normally the crowd, the post WrestleMania crowd starts doing crazy stuff when it's a slow match going on. Like, we have 4 of the best workers on Raw and the crowd's doing a wave. So we had a rough bump in this match as well. It looked as though Roode and Gable would pick up the victory, but they didn't. We had a chaos theory from Chad Gable that got reversed from Ricochet, and he hit a cutter for the win. Ricochet and Aleister Black picks up the victory. I'm just not interested in Ricochet and Aleister Black as a tag team. They need to split up. This was a prime opportunity right after WrestleMania to split them up. Now, I will say they have another opportunity here. We have the Superstar Shakeup coming up. You can split them there. We'll see how it all turns out. I hope they split them up, because these guys need to be single stars. So, my next takeaway is Bray Wyatt, Marty Scurll. Yeah, that one is just a joke. But we had a commercial where a dinosaur or whatever popped up out of a box, and it's like, okay, what is this leading to? Is it leading to Bray Wyatt coming back? I seen the umbrella on the box, and I made a Marty Scurll joke on Twitter, so we'll see how that turns out going forward. So my next takeaway is this a work? We had Lashley versus Dean Ambrose, and they just so marketed it as Dean Ambrose's final WWE match. And the match never really got started, because Lashley talked about taking care of Renee Young while Dean Ambrose was away, and that set Dean Ambrose off. He went into attacking Bobby Lashley, and it's all ended with Lashley putting Dean through a table. That sent out Renee Young. She went out to check on Dean Ambrose as we would head into commercial break. So, what is going on here? I gotta say that, at one point you think that maybe it's a work, but then you see post-Raw, Dean, Seth, and Roman had a curtain call, and then you're thinking, okay, it's not a work. So we'll see how it happens. It's pretty strange for WWE to be marketing Dean Ambrose's exit. I don't know if they thought that they would shame him on the way out. I'm not sure what's going on here. So we had Sami Zayn walking down the hallway, and I'm like, man, couldn't they have just brought him back? That would have been better, just to have bring him back, and instead of just seeing him come down the walkway. It kind of ruins the pop, but it is what it is. My next takeaway is Sami is back. He came down to a pretty much raucous pop, even though they kind of ruined it. But he issued an open challenge. Finn Balor accepted the open challenge. We had ourselves an Intercontinental Championship matchup. Sami Zayn versus Finn Balor. It was a great pace. I enjoyed the match. Sami Zayn, not Sami Callihan. I'm thinking Impact Wrestling here. Sami Zayn looked like he was going to go to the outside for a dive, and he moonwalked back. It wasn't a dive. In this match, it was a pretty good match that got a good amount of time. Sami Zayn hit a blue thunder bomb and exploded suplex, but he would go on to miss the Helluva Kick, and that would open the door for Finn Balor to pick up the win with the coup de grace. He picks up the win, and Sami Zayn, interestingly enough, grabs the microphone, said that he realized how much he was missed, and right when he said that, right when the crowd started applauding for him, I said, oh man, here comes the heel turn. And he went on to say that I didn't miss any of this, or you fans. Went on to call it a toxic environment, and then he went on to say that he would be here to hold the fans accountable. A good promo, but I gotta say that here I go again. Sami Zayn was at his best when he was a face in WWE. The heel run, it's like it didn't last. Like it didn't have any type of meaning when he was a heel in the WWE. He did some good work, but they didn't run with him as a heel. I think his best work was when he was a face. I'll give it a chance. We'll see how it turns out going forward. So my next takeaway is dead man walking. Elias came down and Elias started spitting some bars on John Cena. I was kind of enjoying it. Then he said the next person that interrupted him would be a dead man, and sure enough, here was The Undertaker. Gong hits, crowd goes wild. Crowd goes even wilder when The Undertaker comes through that entrance, and man, The Undertaker was in phenomenal shape. I gotta give it to him. Much better shape than the last time. And, Elias came charging at him, got a big boot, a choke slam, and a tombstone. He pinned Elias, and the crowd chanted 1, 2, 3, and the match was over. Undertaker wins, and it was good seeing Undertaker back. I'm tired of Elias getting buried, to be quite honest with you, but it was good to see the Undertaker back. It will be interesting to see if another match will occur in WWE with Undertaker. We'll see. It was strange not seeing them for WrestleMania, if I'm being totally honest, but we saw him last night, and we'll see what goes on going forward. My last takeaway is the bar. So Kofi Kingston and Seth Rollins, they had the title match, winner takes all, and it's like, okay, who's gonna interfere here? We didn't even really get all the way into the match. They were both on the top rope. Kofi throws Seth Rollins to the floor, and we have all these debates going on. I see on Twitter, and it's like, oh man, the Undisputed Era is gonna come out, or it's gonna be Daniel Bryan, and we have all these illusions of grandeur. And that's all it turned out to be. Illusions and nothing else. The bar came down. I love me some bar. I love Sheamus. I love Cesaro. But this was very underwhelming. It is what it is. At least Kofi Kingston didn't lose the title, so I was happy about that. So we had Seth Rollins. We had a tag team match playing. Seth Rollins and Kofi Kingston versus Sheamus and Cesaro. And the crowd just wasn't feeling this whatsoever. We got AEW chants in the arena. I didn't mind it one bit. I'll get to that later. But this was a match that I didn't really get into either. Like, I don't think anybody watching could really get into, because we expected so much more for the people that would be interfering. And we got the bar. So it was a decent enough match. Spot of the match really was Kofi Kingston diving off the top rope to the outside, the bar catching him, and Seth Rollins going for a suicide dive to the outside. The match would end as Kofi Kingston would hit the Trouble in Paradise, and Seth would hit the curb stomp for the win. Seth Rollins and Kofi Kingston reign supreme, and that's how we would close the show. Very underwhelming end to Seth Rollins and Kofi Kingston. I will see how both guys' reigns go forward, and who will their next challenges be. We'll see about that. But we had AEW chants in the crowd, and I didn't mind it one bit. Triple H called them pissants, and now you brought it on yourself, to be quite honest. So we'll see how that goes. The crowd, like AEW is picking up steam. We'll see how they do going forward. They have their pay-per-view Double or Nothing in May. We'll see about that. But this episode of Raw, I gotta say, I was really struggling through it. because all of the coverage that I've done, all of the reviews has really taken a toll on my body. The WrestleMania hangover was real for me. It was a decent enough show, not a whole lot of debuts like we usually see, but we'll see. Maybe that happens on SmackDown tonight. So let me know your thoughts on Raw. Any thoughts that you have, post them in the YouTube comments or hit me up on Twitter at 2SweetPod. That's the number 2SweetPod, or at OMG Corey B.